Hello.
Hello, we are live now. Welcome to the Tavern Talks podcast. This is the third time I've done this introduction now. I am going to post the outtakes as well in a YouTube video. I'm Sam, and I'm on Twitch as It's Waffles Royale, and yeah, welcome to the podcast. We talk about games, media, anime, Dungeons and Dragons, and all sorts of interesting shit.
Hell yeah.
So, that's my introduction done.
I prefer the second take.
Not the fifth. The mystical fifth that we haven't actually done.
Yeah.
The fifth's going to be so good, though. You have no idea.
Alright, it's my intro then, yeah. So, hello everyone, I'm Martin. On Twitter, it's TrueGoldenEagle. Instagram is GoldenEagle200. I'm not active on either one of them, but you can follow me on there, and if people care, I can start putting more opinions and other crap on there. So,
And I'm Nick. I'm an alcoholic.
thank you for opening up to it.
It's okay, you're in a safe place.
I am unsalted_Bork on Twitch.
He's actually giving his full name on something.
Wait, I did that.
I don't remember you doing that before. I remember it just being I'm Nick, and that was it.
Yeah.
No, it'd always be I'm Nick, then it'd be like a 20-second pause, then I'd actually give something.
Oh, okay.
Expertly prepared. So, now with the introductions out of the way, let's just dive straight into it. You fellas remember in episode 1 we talked about Elon Musk buying Twitter? Well,
I remember.
fast forward to today, and Musk has now put the Twitter deal on hold. And
Dun,
his
dun, dun.
reasoning behind it is, from my understanding, that the deal can't move forward until the company's CEO publicly shows proof that it has less than 5% spam accounts across all users.
Right.
And so, until they do that, it's not pressing forward. Musk also broke his non-disclosure agreement this week as well, which was amazing. To basically publicly state that Twitter did a sample, audience of 100 users and got their initial percentage reading of bot accounts from that. So yeah, it seems a bit sketchy at the moment, but I can also see why Musk has put the deal on hold, because obviously if he's buying a platform, he wants it to actually be used and it not just be ransacked with bots that try to sell you OnlyFans.
Exactly. No, I completely get where it's coming from. When you're spending that kind of money, as you say, you need to know how many people are on there, what kind of revenue you can generate from that through ads.
Yeah.
And if it's all going to bots and stuff, it's no company when they find out that are going to want that. So it's going to be a horrible investment, and I guess it gets to sort out. So
Yeah,
I'm with him on that. It needs to be sorted. It needs to be found out first.
But yeah, it was funny because the series of tweets, he put the tweet up regarding the information of the bot accounts, and then literally a tiny bit later he put another one up. But it was basically lol, I've just been told off by Twitter's lawyers. And to be fair, that's as much as I've got on the Twitter deal. I mean, that's as far as the update really goes. So yeah, just a little update to throw in at the beginning. And,
As always, we will update you on everything Musk.
Aye, our Lord Musk. This isn't. We don't have subliminal messaging in this podcast. Buy a Tesla. Buy a Tesla. The Boring Company is a good thing. Dogecoin to the moon. But yeah, that covers that for this week. So,
Unfortunately, it's not been that big a news, has there been this week?
No, there
We have
hasn't.
a lot of other smaller news, but nothing huge yet.
Yes, don't worry, we are still a news podcast. We are still a news podcast. So, let's turn left into what have you been playing / watching, haven't you?
Oh yeah.
And I'm going to start this one, and I do apologise. So I'll start with the nice, then I'm going to go to the bad. Apex Legends Mobile. The only mobile game I will say I enjoy.
That's big.
Like, I've been playing, it came out yesterday, I've been playing it a lot, and I am into it. Yeah, when you get past, like, the first 5 levels on your account, like, that's when you sort of transcend into playing matches against other people, as opposed to the majority, like, being bots or total newbies. And it does get significantly harder, but it's still a nice experience. It feels like they have just taken the Apex Legends experience and condensed it down into, like, for a totally, like, portable platform. And for anyone who wants to comment, but the Nintendo Switch, it's like, that doesn't count. That's just, like, the child we don't talk about.
Do people really think that as, like, mobile gaming?
I don't know. No, I'm on about...
I mean, technically, it's mobile gaming.
Yeah.
yeah,
True.
but
I'm used to telephones being called mobiles is the thing. You know, not on the move. And that's, yeah, because it was mobile telephone, and everyone just shortened it to mobile.
yeah.
You know. It's
Or
all terminology. All
cell
terminology.
phone
Semantics.
in America.
Weird Americans.
Just a disclaimer: we like everybody here. Americans, you're welcome. Please
Hello,
don't,
Americans.
Please,
My
don't,
fellow Americans.
please don't sue us. But if you're gonna sue anyone, start with mine.
Yeah, I'll take the first. I'll take the first two. That's fine.
He'll take the first hit. We'll take the rest.
Yeah.
But no, genuinely, fellas, it feels like they've been working like purely on testing it in a closed like capacity, like with certain countries and regions for over a year now, and you can tell that like solid years worth of testing has paid off. It feels like intuitive. Like when you're playing it, it feels good. And also they're bringing in like something called mobile exclusive legends.
How much do you know about the mobile exclusive legend?
I have the mobile exclusive legend. It is the one I like to play around the most with. And for the love
Is
of
it Snake?
you, what?
Is it Snake?
It's not Snake. I wish it was Snake. And here I am actually loading up Apex Legends Mobile on my iPhone to get the name of this legend. Because I can't remember the name of the legend at all. So, this legend, my friends, is called Fade.
Fade.
Called Fade. So, and his abilities are pretty decent. Like, he's got a passive called Slipstream, a tactical called Flashback, which he can rewind time. And there is going to be a massive awful ping on the podcast because a notification came up on this computer. Oops, technical glitch. Hey. But yeah, so in short, I don't want to go on about it forever. It's a good game. And it is on iPhone and Android, and I would encourage people to pick it up and have a go at it. So, now for the happy side out of the way. Unfortunately, I have to get a bit serious. I have to get potentially a little bit emotional. So, I recently streamed on my Twitch channel Evil Dead the game. I also then streamed it again in a private capacity for both of you two last night.
God, was that last night?
Yes. I finally beat the first mission, and that leads me into our first problem. The story mode is crap.
Yeah, I was going to say quote-unquote story mode.
Yeah, more like
Story mode
single-player missions. Almost like, I don't know, kind of like Friday the 13th, they had single-player before they got cancelled, and it was just a series of, like, single-player challenges. That is effectively what it was. And the difficulty on it is so damn high that, like, I'm surprised it even got through testing.
I think I said it while you were streaming it over Twitch. I said that, like, most games, it feels like they throw the story mode at you, like a COD game. You play through the story mode to get used to the shooting,
Yeah.
then you go into multiplayer.
To play.
Whereas with this, it looked like you should start with multiplayer to learn to play, then do the story stuff.
Yeah.
Which is a weird way to do it.
Yeah, it was backwards. But, like, the balancing in general was, like, horrible in that mission. And I mean, like, most missions you're used to seeing checkpoint systems. This, by the way, audience, has zero of this. So you could get to the very last millisecond of that mission, but as soon as you die, that's it. You are transported all the way back to the beginning, and about 20-30 minutes of your time is wasted.
Yeah, it seems like it depends on how long you spend exploring that map. Because they've basically taken one of the multiplayer maps and they've like sectioned off a circle of it.
Yeah.
And there's like loot dotted around in some locations on this map, which is worth looking for because there's like a legendary chainsaw that does fucking 3 times as much damage as the one that you start with, or a legendary shotgun that does an equal amount more. So they do want you to explore to find this better shit,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I had to develop an unconventional strategy to finish that mission as well. Like, I had to break because the mission, as we saw, and when you saw me play it as well, Nick, like the first time around, it had like a particular structure to it where it wanted you to follow a sort of a set structure.
Yeah.
Well, I had to break that. Well, I realistically did, because I ended up going to like, if you call it a 6-step plan, I ended up going from step 1 to like what would be step 5 to go back to step 2.
Yeah.
And that was the
Just to
only
get,
way.
like,
Yeah.
the weapons that you could, and healing items,
Yes.
so that you could like fight the not mini boss but like harder enemy.
Yep, and hits like a juggernaut.
Yep.
It's painful. Then again, the trees in that game hit like a juggernaut. For anyone
Is
who's...
there any way to tell if the tree's gonna swing at you?
No.
Oh, that's
It's totally... Yeah. So, like...
Well, there's no wind up or anything.
Nope.
Because I know when we watched you play it, like, yeah, it came out of nowhere. But I wasn't expecting a tree to even swing.
But, like, even then, the tree didn't make contact with me at all. It could swing off, like, 10 yards behind me, and I still, like, lost a quarter of my health.
Yeah, you'd think they'd have like some sort of tell on the tree. Like, I don't know, some fucking red mist floating above it. Just something
Yeah.
to tell you that, right, this tree is corrupt or possessed, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Yeah.
And it's gonna swing.
Yeah. So, yeah, I spend most of my gameplay on Evil Dead, paranoid about all the trees. Yeah, it's just weird. What I feel like is, okay, don't get me wrong, to wrestle that many different rights from so many different holders, because for anyone who's a fan of the Evil Dead listening to this, or is maybe only hearing about Evil Dead for the first time, first of all, I'd recommend watch them. Because I like them. I like them.
They're very camp horror.
Yeah.
Which is good.
So they're not serious. Avoid the reboot, though. Because I just wasn't into that at all. But you may be, so maybe do give it a try. But it just... I'm amazed at the fact, because all these films have so many different rights held by different people. And different companies and different studios, that Saber and Boss Team, or Big Boss Games, if I think I got the studio name right, they have managed to navigate that like legal water of, getting all these rights.
Yeah.
And getting them all into the game, because it's like spanning from all the way from the original Evil Dead all the way through to Ash vs Evil Dead. And there's about 4 different rights holders to go through in that one, or 3. And it shows it all at the beginning, all the logos for these different companies and different studios, and it just makes you think, well, Saber's done a good job navigating that. And I obviously trusted Saber a lot because they had a lot to do with the World War Z game. That, I'm sure, for anyone who's played that will agree, is a good game.
I
Yeah.
definitely enjoy it.
No, I agree. I thought it was a really good game. I expected it to be bad because I don't know if they were in development before or if World War Z is like a book, but I've only seen the movie. So when it came out with World War Z game, I'm like, oh, it's just another movie, like our games, from a just promote the movie. They make that kind of place kind of games. So I'm like, oh, it's just gonna be that. It'll be bad, but it was actually good. So yeah, no, I agreed. They've did a good jobs and things.
But
only because it came out at a weird time, the World War Z. I know we're not talking about World War Z right now, but I just
no,
it came out like fucking 7 years after the movie came out or something like that.
World War Z was a book.
That's really random.
It was a book. Ah, okay.
I believe it is based from the book. It does take inspiration from the movie with some of the visual. So it's sort of a mix, and it's nice, and it was nice that it got new life breathed into it with the Aftermath update. But I suppose back to the pudding of it. Okay, so I guess pros. I'm going to do pros and cons because I've thought about it quite a lot. So I'll start off with the good side for Evil Dead the game. It definitely captures the Evil Dead like vibe. The price as well. It's a good. I don't know what to call it. Low budget game because it was like £35. So, all right, mid budget then.
No, I remember being able to go down into center of like where I grew up and just you go pick up the low budget games just were like a tenner. Like like a new game comes out and they were like 25 quid.
Yeah.
Eventually they started getting to the point where they were 40 and now it's just
No,
so it was just me marveling over that, like, times change with this stuff.
Now we live in a world where games are nearly £70.
Yeah.
So I guess no, it is probably fair to call it low, the top end of the low end of the budget. So it's like broadly going into mid budget. It's good. It's good for the price. I do feel like they are going to continue improving it, but the cons at the minute are it's unbalanced. They need to work a checkpoint system out for the single player challenges. They need to work on like small bugs and stuff, like my controller just randomly died, like wouldn't be registered in game in the middle of my stream when I first streamed it.
Oh yeah, that was when you
refreshed
didn't you press the button to check your add-ons?
Yeah, to refresh my add-ons list.
Yeah, it was trying to open a PlayStation page, but it couldn't, but it opened it in the background, so the game stopped responding. Something fucked up like that happened.
Yep. And it just killed it straight away. I disconnected the pad, reconnected the pad, nothing. So, pros, for what it is, it captures Spirit of the Evil Dead. The cons are they need to do a lot of work on it to fix these bugs, balancing, checkpointing, and like minor bugs and nuances. So
I feel like we haven't actually talked about what the game is really, like what kind of game it is.
They like to call it asymmetrical multiplayer, and it's essentially you've got 4 survivors. Like you pick like your survivor from I think it's 4 different classes. So there's like leader, fighter, hunter, and support, and each one has different like qualities and strengths. And really, when you're playing, ideally you want to pick maybe somebody from. You want each person to pick one character from each.
You want every role to be filled.
Yes. And then on the other side, you've got the person playing as the antagonist, while playing as the Kandarian demon, which is the antagonist in the Evil Dead series. So, and the survivors are given a list of objectives. It's like to find to put together a map to find pages from the Necromonicon, to then find the Kandarian dagger, and then in the end, like, destroy. Well, not destroy, but to basically get the defeat the Dark Ones, which are like the main, I guess, above the Kandarian demon as the main antagonists. And to get the Necromonicon, which is a book. It's complicated for anybody listening. This is why go watch a YouTube video explaining it. I might add one in the links just to make it easier.
It's kind of like a mixture between Dead by Daylight, Friday the 13th, and like a Left 4 Dead. You're having to like scavenge for supplies as the survivors, and the demon is kind of... they don't have like... From what I could tell, they don't have like their own physical form. They're spawning like little minions to fight you. They can take over the minions, they can set traps. They
Possess
can like
other players.
Possess other players if they get frightened enough. Possess cars. And all of this costs like points, which points are accumulated by finding like pickups in the level. You'll see like random pools of redness that if you stand near it, you'll absorb X amount of points. And yeah. Is what I understood from watching you.
That is exactly how I would describe it, and you've done me a big favour describing it for me. Because I wouldn't have thought of a better way to word it, honestly. So, yeah, basically, they class it as asymmetrical. It's based on the Evil Dead films. The single player isn't really a single player, but it is. It's not like a traditional single player, it's just like scenarios that you go through with a tiny bit of a story attached to it.
Yeah, it feels a little tacked on. Like it was kind of an afterthought.
Oh, it definitely was an afterthought. You can tell it was an afterthought.
Yeah.
And
just from watching it, you can tell. Yeah.
Did you do those missions to like unlock? Is it skins or just straight up characters?
New survivors. So last night, after completing the first mission, I unlocked Ash, but the Ash versus Evil Dead one. So basically, Old Man Ash.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that there were like 8 survivors from the get-go, and 4 of them are just variants on Ash.
Yeah. So,
which is really funny that he has that many variants to put in.
You could just end up with a team of entirely Ashes. Which is pretty good.
Basically, just see a team of Bruce Campbells just marching towards you. It's a sight to behold. But yeah, that's what I've been playing this week. Evil Dead the game and Apex Legends Mobile, and
Nice.
I think that's as much as I've got to say on that.
Right, how about you, Martin? How have you been consuming?
Yeah, so the games I've been playing not have been anything new, but except for Minecraft Dungeons. A friend of mine, Matty, who I bring up often, he randomly tried it because it's on Game Pass. So he randomly tried it and was like, "We got to play this," and he told me it was really good. So I'm like, "Sure, we'll download it." And it's not bad. It's not bad. It's just a loot grabber game. Run into a dungeon, leave you back at the hub. You found some loot there, and just rinse and repeat constantly.
Basically Diablo.
Yeah, basically Diablo, and it's actually not bad. It's actually not bad. I have been enjoying playing it. You start out initially with a sword and a bow. Straight off the bat.
There aren't any classes.
No, there's no classes. You get your armor, your melee weapon, and your ranged weapon, and then you get 3 artifact slots. You can make sort of like classes by the artifacts and armor that you're picking. So there's certain things. Do you know that spell on Elden Ring? That's just the huge beam of death that everyone uses. You see all the memes of it all the time.
Yes.
Bosses and stuff. Yeah, they have. Yeah, Kamehameha. They have that in there from this book, but it requires what they call souls, and it says there's a little bar at the bottom, And to get swords, you got to kill enemies, as you would expect. And now there's certain armor pieces that, for its level, will offer maybe less defense, or weapons that will offer less attack, but they get you more souls as you use them.
Right.
So Might, of course, being a magic builder, he has that, and he'll, like, by the time I get a fifth of my bar, he's already got 3/4 of a bar by these items. But he can then obviously use all these spells quite often, and they're very, very damaging. So there's always different things for different situations. All these artifacts can work really well. I have the beam as well, because it's just really powerful. I have a horn that can blow everyone away and then slow their movement. So it's good to knock them back and like pop a healing potion, and try and move to a better spot if you're getting pinned, because you can knock people off certain edges and things. You can get pets. So I at one point I had a wolf constantly flying around. My mate got like a bat kind of thing at one point. Now he's got this weird
vanity pets that will like.
No, they attack things.
Oh right, okay.
They have summon damage on them, and the higher the level, because there's rarities to gear. So there's the common, there's rare, and then the top that I found is unique, and they're like one of the crazy ones. Unfortunately, like you can get a diamond, you can get a pickaxe that's common, but I got a diamond pickaxe that's unique. I don't know if those rarities kind of transfer over, but there's axes, there's weapons that aren't in Minecraft that are obviously on there.
Well, what is the use for a pickaxe then? Are you actually like destroying the environment?
No, you can't go and destroy any of the environment or anything.
Right,
but
so
it's
just straight up a weapon.
Yeah, they're all just weapons. You can't do anything to the environment. Right. There are like random redstone puzzles, but all the dungeons are very, very linear, as you would expect. There's a couple of offshoots you can go to, but it's just to kind of cap off the map and get a chest or something hidden on the side. But that's the max like map interactivity, or like you go to an area and a gate will pop up and you fight the enemies and the gate goes down. So it's very linear that way. It's very, very, what's the word? Not indie, but simple. Yeah. But it's a good simple. It's not bad. It's not missing anything. It could just have more if they wanted to. So there's a lot of room to expand if they ever chose to.
Is there any like dungeon building mode?
None that I have seen.
I feel like that'd be really fun. There's an indie game called Fight the Dragon, where basically it's like a community of people that they get to build their own like worlds and dungeons and stuff like that, and then other people get to like jump into that and run through them. I feel like that could really benefit from something like that.
That really could, because Minecraft has always been known as the thing to go and put creativity in.
Yeah.
Always has been. It's why it's so successful, is just because you could place blocks. If you couldn't dig up blocks and place them, it would have done that all. So the people make mods of making these things. People make mods to put dungeons in themselves and build them and put them out there for everyone to download and play with all the coding in, don't they? So
I wonder what Minecraft is like for the modding community.
Yeah, I'm not certain actually. I don't know even how big it is. Usually when I go on, there's at least like 6 lobbies that I can see, because like I have to scroll down the rest, so I don't know how many there are. Yeah. I think lowest I've ever seen it was when the servers went down at one point and I came on and there was only 2. It was quite quick, at least, for lobbies. But no, overall, it's quite fun to play. With me having it for free on Game Pass, it's been really fun.
Yeah.
I'd reasonably pay about 15 quid for it. I enjoy it because after the first few dungeons, if I'm playing with a friend, I'd be like, right, I'm kind of done here.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. There's good weapon types. There's there's claymores, there's the pickaxes, there's swords, there's axes, daggers, all different speeds and attack powers. So you can make like a class that you want in a lot of ways and play how you want, but I want to go in heavy hit. At first I was using daggers, I'm like, it's cool, but like I just get whacked a lot, so I'm just going to go in heavy hit. Whack.
Fair enough. I've been interested in this game since like release, but I've just never like bitten the bullet.
Yeah.
Even try it for one reason or another. But this might actually finally get me to give it a go.
How much is it on the stores? Like, let's see on Steam.
I feel like it was 15 quid last time.
16.79. I would say I would pay 15 quid for it. Yeah, that'd be. It's a good price then. It's a good price. If you like loot grabbers and you're a fan of like the Minecraft kind of style and things, then yeah, I don't see why someone would not enjoy it. Because
Fair
they don't do anything wrong, and that's a lot to be said nowadays with games. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, and that's but no, it's been good. So probably be playing more of that later on as well again.
Cool.
It's open levels.
Anything else you've been watching or playing?
Yeah. Now the next part, I wrote it down as we were talking because I'm like, can I? I know if it like it's what you've played, and I'm like, I watched an anime literally on Monday. I took the day off work, and I'm like, right, I'm just going to chill and watch something. Now, it's an anime called Charlotte. Now I know I only saw this anime at first because of one GIF. I'm going to put it in memes. What happened? Let me see if I can find it here. Yes, here we go. So I literally saw this GIF that I'm posting now. Saw this scene on TikTok, and I'm like, what in the hell is this anime where this man runs out of a window and jumps out of a skyscraper and plummets to his death laughing hysterically? I'm like, I have to watch this show. I have to know what this scene is. And so the premise of it, I binged it all in one day because it has 13 episodes throughout. It was all on Crunchyroll, on 24 minutes each. And yeah, the premise is the world, all like adolescent people, or like, well, teenagers, from people like, maybe 8 plus up until they're about 16. Not everyone, but a lot of people will develop superpowers. So think My Hero Academia, where everyone's got superpowers, but it's not really well known that people have powers. It's all quite well hidden.
I feel like teenagers are the worst people to get superpowers.
They are the worst, and it's very well shown in here because it's not a spoiler to say because it's within the first 5 minutes. This man right here who jumps out of the window, his power is to possess people. As long as he looks at them, he can possess people, and he can only do it for about 5 seconds. And it's showing and it's talking about him testing his powers. So of course, being a young teenage guy, what does he do? He possesses a girl, pulls a shirt, and looking at her like, oh my god. Things like that. It's within the first 5 minutes. Like all these things, and it's like, oh, we don't really work though well because I have to I have to be within sight range. So what he started then to do was he'd be in school in his classroom and doing a test and things, and he was never got a high score on things. But he would go and possess all of the smartest students in the class. Like by the end of 15 minutes, when they got 15 minutes in your test, he would possess them and memorize their answers. And then write it down in his own sheet. And he would do it between multiple students and get all the correct answers, so he ends up getting like the highest scores in these tests and things. But gets found out later on by other students and has to go to this school with all other superheroes. Not superheroes, people with powers. But I don't want to say any more than that, because any more will start giving like spoilers for things, and I do want to keep it spoiler free.
Yeah.
Because I know one of our viewers I already told about, and he's like, it's on my watch list, I'm going to watch it. But I could have done with maybe 1 or 2 more episodes, but it was actually quite good. It had a couple of good twists and turns in there. It's short enough to where you can watch it and get through it quite quickly and experience the whole story. And yeah, there's another GIF that I won't post, but it's another GIF I've seen around that a lot of people use. So it seemed to be very popular, and it was actually quite good. I would probably rate it anywhere from 7 to 8 out of 10. I don't want to give it but it's funny because giving it a 7.5 feels unfair. I want to give it an 8, but there's just the only thing that the ending was really good. I loved the ending. They really hashed out a good idea. They had an idea from the start. He went with it. There was just a little bit of the execution because it all happened in one episode. I would have liked it to have been spread around over 2, but that's really the only flaw with it. So it was genuinely quite good. I would definitely recommend it for people.
Oh, I might give it a go then.
Yeah.
It's digestible.
Yeah, it's on Crunchyroll.
Digestible, I definitely will give it a start.
Yeah. It's very comedic. It's mainly a comedy, I would say. But there are certain parts that just kind of get dark very quickly. Yeah. I'm not saying anything about where the episodes were that they did, but there was certain parts, and I'm like, I wanted it to keep that theme after. When it hit, this certain thing happened, I'm like, I want this darkness for the whole show. I want to see it all. I want it to go ham on crazy. And it didn't. And I was like, that's the only part where I haven't rated it higher. Yeah. Its execution was still done well, and that's not what's ruined it. It's just I would have preferred it to go into a nitty-gritty direction.
Yeah.
But it kind of pulled him back and went a bit dark and then a bit light again and then swapped around. But yeah, overall, quite good. Enjoyed it.
Have you ever watched an anime called Devilman Crybaby?
No, and I thought you were going to say Devil May Cry, but Devil. Let me Google this. Devil Man.
I think it was a Netflix thing, but it was actually like quite good. The art style was really weird and sort of disconcerting, but I recommend that. That only ran for one season as well.
That is strange. They kind of blend into the background. It's all a strange color palette, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's very desaturated. And that's the part that's weird. Is it about vampires then or something? Oh, it's about devils, isn't it? And demons.
Yeah.
I guess that's why everyone's quite pale. Yeah, that sounds weird, but that's a cool one maybe to check out then at some point.
I recommend it.
Yeah. We'll see,
It's
but
not
it was.
for everyone, but you're an anime guy, so you'll probably like it.
Yeah, I have so many on my list. so many to watch. I had to write them all down because loads have been recommended to me.
Yeah.
I literally
yeah,
just googled Devilman Crybaby.
Yeah.
And as soon as I did that and clicked it, a notification came up from my Gmail saying, "What did Pablo Escobar do?"
Like, what are you Googling, man? What do you do?
I don't know. Was it giving me emails about a Colombian cocaine bat lord? Oh, anyway, that's off topic.
Wild. That's off topic, but that is the end of all my stuff. I haven't played or done anything else this week, to my knowledge, unless I'm completely missing something. But yeah.
Fair enough. So it's called Charlotte, you said?
Yes. Charlotte. Literally just the name. I'll put it in memes and shit. Just to remember.
Yeah, I found it. Oh, 2015, okay.
Yeah, it was old. I saw the comments on Crunchyroll, and it was like 7 years ago. I'm like, oh I didn't know it was this old.
2015 is old, Martin. That's going to absolutely fucking kill me.
It was old for people to be using them in TikToks and other videos. Like these, like this, like GIF and stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Alright. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Alright then, Nick, what have you been playing?
Not much this week. Like, it's pretty much just been an EDF week for me. I been playing a bit more EDF 4.1, and I finally finished it on hard mode, and I was kind of done with it then. Well, not done with it, but like, I'm not interested in going to the higher difficulties to finish it on those.
Yeah.
I just don't care enough. But I moved on to EDF 5. And I've been slowly chipping away at that on hard mode. Man, it feels so good to go from 4.1 to 5. There's so many like quality of life changes that are just ideal. I don't know any other way to describe them, but ideal. Like, to begin with, none of your classes fall behind. You know how on 4.1 you'll have to like practically start the entire game again if you want to get weapons and armor for another class.
Yep.
Well, on EDF 5, all of the armor pickups and all of the weapons will spread out across all of your classes.
Oh.
So you can just change it anytime and you are perfectly fine. Which is very fucking nice.
Yeah.
Also, the wing diver gets a dash now. So she can dash mid-air or she can dash on the floor. Takes like a tiny bit of energy, but that is so fucking helpful. Cannot express how helpful that is. What else about EDF 5? Completing it on one difficulty completes it on the lower difficulties. For like, on a per mission basis. So if you do mission 1 on hard, it's going to complete it on easy and easiest difficulty. So there's no more of that fucking having to complete every mission 4 times on every class just to do all the difficulties. Or to get 100%. Which, that's a very nice fucking change. As a completionist. Ranger gets a sprint now. So he will like...
Nice.
His turn becomes harder to do, but he gets like a circle around him that will pick up objects. So he can just like sprint for cover now and pick up shit along the way. And there's just a bunch of quality of life stuff like that. I've only been playing the Wing Diver and the Ranger so far, though. I think I tried the Fencer and the Air Raider when I first got EDF5, but I could not tell you the first thing about them. I will say, though, they recycle a lot of enemies. Like, the first enemy you're fighting are the grey ants, and then the red ants will turn up. Those little spiders will turn up. I'm pretty sure the big versions of those spiders turn up. Even the, like, kaiju-looking motherfucker turns up. Which is kind of a bummer. But, yeah, it's just kind of a better EDF 4.1, to be quite honest. And that's, that's basically all I've been playing. I've dipped my toes into some other stuff. Like, Lord of the Rings Online, I played incredibly briefly. God, what else did I play? It's to the point where, like, it was so fucking brief that it's not even worth mentioning. The Sims 4, there we go. That's another game I played very briefly.
Was it your first time playing it, or was it just go jumping back onto it?
It was just jumping back onto it.
Yeah.
My problem with The Sims is I will play for like 100 hours on one save, then I'll stop playing for like 2-3 months,
Yeah.
and I'll just start another save.
Yeah. It's not worth going back to it all. You gotta start again.
I like starting from the bottom and working my way back up.
Exactly. Yeah. For me, a lot of The Sims went downhill when multiplayer stopped. I know, like,
I didn't realize I had multiplayer, to be honest.
Well,
I know that, like, the
on console it does.
2 one, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, they were like Sims busting out, Sims 2, things like that. Like, I remember going to my Matty again, go to his house playing Sims 2 on the GameCube, I'd busting out and stuff. And that's the one I spent hours every day with these Sims. Getting the nub outside, get all the cheats and stuff, and like, make the house do all this other stuff, max out the skills, get the best job.
Motherload.
Yeah. And just constantly go for it all. I remember being in the States with my oldest brother, and we played unknowingly until 5 a.m. We just happened to check the time after playing it for a bit. Like literally, my brother, Adam, he turned around and I'm going to bed now. Like, okay, cool. Like, I will step for like another quick half hour or something playing the game. 5 hours. Just playing Sims, and it literally felt like an hour. It's the great thing of Sims. But after multiplayer was gone, like local multiplayer, I was like, I don't want to do it by myself.
There is a mod for Sims 4 that adds multiplayer.
Okay.
But I've tried it extensively enough to know if it's any good.
But
it's out there. Let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, how big of a Sims fan are you? But nice. But back to the idea for them before we move on then to the next topic. Yeah, that's cool that most sequels for games, they generally go downhill. Or they look at it and go, you know all these good features that were in the game? You go, yeah, what are we doing with that? We're taking them out. So to actually, so to actually take a game and actually go, here's how we're going to make it better for you lot, I'm all for it. So that's great to hear then.
I will say it doesn't have the laser chainsaw, so it's kind of by default a worse game.
Boo! That's it, I'm never playing it.
That's it. It does this cool... well, I say cool. You start off the game as like a civilian. You're not actually with the EDF. You're training to be with the EDF. And you start out in like what looks like makeshift wing diver gear, or like kind of police... a police bulletproof vest if you're a ranger. It basically looks like you're wearing just makeshift gear, and that will like slowly start to look better along with the quote-unquote story. So eventually you do join the EDF and you do get proper wing diver gear and stuff like that, which is just like a fun little appearance progression in a way. But yeah, good game. Turns out EDF is a good series. Who would have thunk?
Mm-hmm.
It's always going to be good as EDF, let's be real.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, I think we should move on
Yes.
to the player's choice talk.
Take it away, Nick.
So, last week we rolled a die. The die landed on me, and I chose for everybody to watch Banshee, the TV show Banshee, which we watched the first. It ran for 4 seasons, and we watched the first 3 episodes of it. So, yeah, I want you guys to tell me what you thought of Banshee, or tell me further what you thought of Banshee.
Who wants to take this first? Mine, do you, or?
I'll let you go first. You go first, Nick.
I love it!
Wait, that's all we need. Moving on.
I need more! It's... Okay, so going into it first, I was like, what the hell is Banshee? But then I watched it and I was like, I mean, okay, apart from the initial, the main protagonist, Lucas, when I saw it was played by Anthony Starr, okay, so I got over the whole, oh my god, it's Homelander.
Don't trust him.
Yeah, but between, like, meeting Lucas's character and then meeting, like, the barman Sugar, and then, like, eventually meeting, like, one of the antagonists, that, is it Kai?
Yeah, Kai Proctor.
Kai Proctor. Like, the whole balance of the story was just good. But also, it seems like a fake it till you make it story.
Yeah.
Like,
Do we want to go into spoilers, or do we want to keep this as spoiler-free as we can?
I keep
Because
it...
like, we can put a timestamp if we want to.
I think really that we should give the people of the podcast, like maybe if we want to talk about it again later, like a week or two. Because there might be some people who come in that don't know it. And this is like really old. Like if we're talking about something that was made like 20 years ago, sure.
I mean, if you listen to the last podcast, I recommend watching Banshee. I'm going to put that out there right now.
Yeah, okay. You know what? This time, yeah, do a timestamp, and what we'll say from here at this point on is we will talk about it with spoilers the next week, so they have a week to actually do what we did with it. I think that seems more than fair for people, if they care enough.
Right.
I'll leave it as ambiguous as I can. It's essentially a fake it till you make it story. It's a story in a sense, I guess, about second chances as well.
Yeah.
And it's really good. Like, I think, like, I've messaged outside when we've watched it together. Like, I remember I messaged you, Nick, and I was like, I need the full season. I need to see the full season. And then I know we was like slotting together to watch like episodes 2 to 3. And you was asking me, I was like, oh, if that's okay with you guys, and I was just like, yeah, if I did it my way, I'd have watched like a full season by now.
Yeah.
Like, I have found my latest obsession, and it is Banshee, and I recommend everybody go watch it. Oh, I don't know, I'll come to your house and steal all your tea bags.
The first episode, Martin pointed out that the first episode is like very slow to start. Yeah. It hits a lot of cliches. But there are like so many players in this small town that it's like having to introduce all of them.
Yeah. So I guess that's a good segue to go into like my opinion then of it.
Yeah.
Because I know when we first watched it, like our original plan was like, oh, we'll watch like one each, like every like other night when we kind of book in, we'll watch one.
Yeah.
And I watched the first one, and my god, like I'm being unfiltered here. My god, it was fucking bad. I didn't like it at all. There was too many tropes, and it just reminded me of the really, really poorly written Netflix shows that they just spew out. It's like, how can we make this person that men will like? Well, he has to be a badass that goes immediately out and fucks this woman, and then does this thing, and then all the characters were always kind of the same huge, very stereotypical tropes. And it's like, even immediately, it's like, how can we introduce a new love interest to the main character? Oh, well, he's going to work as, like, because we all know the premise that he becomes a cop of the town. It was said last podcast.
Yeah.
It's like, have this woman cop come in wrestling a guy, and she's like pushing him on the table, like, yeah, fuck you, man, and like gets annoyed at him. It's like, oh, this woman must be a badass. Clearly, she's the new love interest. And like it just like pushing it. It felt more like they did it like that across so many characters, and they're just seeing it coming from a mile away just sucked a lot of the enjoyment out of it. However, I'm saying that to people because the next 2 episodes were actually pretty decent. If they ran like that normally, I would have probably maybe wanted to carry on watching it. Because now they've established, I was saying even the first episode, now they've established all the characters, which is what they're going for. They can now start properly telling the story and pushing forward with it. Because as you said there, Nick, there's so many players, it's hard to introduce them all in one small setting really quickly. So we know who they are. So the second 2 episodes were definitely a lot better, and started diving into depth of more about character motivations and what they were doing and background games that were happening between them all. So, yeah, one bad for the second 2. Didn't like the first. That's my opinion of it. But overall, a nice suggestion. Yeah.
Overall, beautiful. Watch it. Or T-Bags go missing.
Fair enough. Do we move on to news now then?
I guess so, yeah.
Let's dive in and be consistent, considering we're clearly a consistent bunch of fellas. Quotation, we're not at times. Well, I'm not. Anyway. So, Bethesda have delayed Redfall and Starfield to 2023. Now, the bit that makes me laugh about that is, I know Starfield was given a big reveal. It was like in the works for years and years, and then like last year they made a big like release for the announced date, and the announced date was November 11th, 2022. And it was coming to Xbox Game Pass on day 1 as well, so obviously, got Game Pass, you play it for free. But then a tweet this week was put out, came from Bethesda, and they basically just said the following. We've made the decision to delay the launches of Redfall and Starfield to the first half of 2023. The teams at Arcane Austin, in brackets, they're the developers of Redfall, and Bethesda Game Studios, in brackets, this is Starfield, because they're the lead devs on Starfield, have incredible ambitions for their games, and we want to ensure that you receive the best, most polished versions of them. We want to thank everyone for their excitement for Redfall and Starfield. That energy is a huge part of what inspires all of us every day and drives our own excitement for what we are creating. We can't wait to share our first deep dive into the gameplay for both Redfall and Starfield soon. Thank you for your support. That also makes me feel they're going to show something at the Microsoft Bethesda Showcase on June the 12th. But at the same time, I understand why Starfield would be more of a shock for the delay, because they've already been promoting it for a long time, and they've cancelled the current release date and delayed it and replaced it with another. Well, they haven't even given us another. They've said the first half of 2023. Whereas Redfall, there was no release date for it at all. There was nothing announced. So that kind of baffles me, but at the same time I also sort of commend Bethesda for the openness and the communication to put it out there. Now, I don't know much about Redfall except it's like an open world co-op game set in a town and you fight vampires. That's what drew me to it when I saw the trailer last year. Starfield, I'm essentially just calling the Elder Scrolls set in space. Because that's how people have marketed it, and that's the vibe and atmosphere it's been giving off, but it is a totally different experience, and it's meant to be a very good one, and I can't wait to play it. So, yeah, really, that's about it for that. They're delayed, so we've just got to wait a little bit longer.
So one thing that really annoys me when it comes to most games, not everything is getting delayed all the time. I think there's a huge problem with it. And my opinion really for that is I feel like it's mainly trying to get investor hype, trying to gauge people's reactions to things. Like when it first gets announced before they delay it, I swear it's just to play for investors. It's like, look how much interest was generated by this video and how many likes we got or interest in it. It means you can give us this kind of money to complete at this time, and then if they don't hit that, they delay it for a later date because they don't have the funding to put that much time into it.
Well,
And we just, that's what it feels like, because we're constantly just getting given expectations of when a game is supposed to be here and it's never being delivered anymore. And the other thing I can never think to do with is money. It used to be when the game was done or close to being done, you would go, yes, it's out at this date, with enough time for you to reasonably get it finished. But nowadays it doesn't seem that way. And I feel like that's the reason why.
I mean, we also have to appreciate the last 2 years of our lives has been totally dictated and overruled by coronavirus. And that has in turn affected a lot of game development.
It has. It really has.
So, and we're only just leveling out now. This year, hilariously, we've been getting releases of stuff that was slated to come out last year or the year before.
Yeah, it's 2020, wasn't it? And
look at I know this is a bit off topic, and this is the last bit I'll say before we move on. Look at James Bond. That got like 4 different release dates.
And
then it
so something like that obviously is fair, but I mean, it's been happening even before COVID was happening. That's what it felt like at the time, anyway.
But yeah, I mean, it's probably a mix of everything. But I guess they obviously will know the reasons, and we, as the public, probably never will unless someone speaks.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah,
but
no, I agree, and we'll know definitely more in the next couple of years, because if it keeps going this way, we know it's more than just what's happened.
Yeah.
So there will come a point where it hasn't affected things anymore as much.
Oh yeah, exactly. But that's it. Bethesda have delayed Redfall and Starfield till next year, so gotta wait just a little bit longer, fans of the upcoming games, me included.
Fair enough. Alright, next story. Netflix's Resident Evil series has a teaser trailer and a release date, which is going to be July the 14th. Have either of you watched this teaser trailer?
I have.
No, I have not.
It's
shit.
It's the classic movie trope trailer of like, right, add a cover of a popular song and make it a sad bastard version, and that'll sell it. That's essentially what this trailer is. It looks so fucking... It gives you nothing, basically. It's just zombies and umbrella symbol. This is Resident Evil. That's pretty much all we've gotten from this trailer.
Yeah, it's not the best, is it?
Nope. I can say that again.
It's not the best, is it? I know that's just a phrase that people say, but hey, why not? But no, it's not great.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about it. It's going to be bad. You just know it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist. So I guess we'll move on to the next story then already.
Yeah.
So, I mentioned last week that, and the week before, that Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, a new D&D book, has now released. It released today, I believe. And because of this, D&D Beyond, which is like a tool set for D&D 5e 5th edition, they have decided to delist 2 of the books that this new book pulls from and edits. They decided to delist those 2 books from their store, which is a weird decision to make. So anybody who actually owns the books already, they get to keep their content, and it's just labeled as like legacy, old versions of whatever the new stuff is. And the new stuff in a lot of ways are kind of downgrades of those existing things, unfortunately. Do you guys have anything to add to that?
Wasn't
know
we
you don't
having
really
a
like
discussion of this, like, the other day where I was comparing, like, even down to, like, the character art?
Yeah,
And the character art was...
worse in some cases, better in some cases, granted. Kind of similar in some cases, but a lot of it is just kind of straight up worse. Which, I mean, not many people are going to see the character art, so whatever. But, like, even some of the racial traits. So, I should say that this new book has essentially, like, it wants to put races on more equal footing. So, they no longer get, like, race-specific ability score improvements. So in the past, you'd have like orcs. They're considered to be like a really strong race, so
Yeah.
they'd get like +2 to strength and +1 to something else.
Yeah.
Whereas now, orcs don't start with that stuff. They still get their like other traits, like doing more damage on critical hits and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But now they have to assign which ability scores go where.
Alright.
It's no longer granted to you. To give them like more fluidity to racial choices, essentially. So people feel more comfortable like mixing and matching them with classes. Which my opinion doesn't matter, but I kind of go back and forth on. I'm not a huge fan of it. I like the idea of like, okay, so you've rolled these scores. These races would be really good for you to go with. Otherwise, people are always just going to go with like, not variant human anymore, but variant humans start with a feat. So people are always just going to go variant human.
Yeah.
Or at this point, they're going to go custom lineage. Because if you go custom lineage, you get to like have dark vision and a feat. Basically, humans have become completely fucking moot at this point. And yeah, that's kind of that story. There are also, however, 2 books on D&D Beyond that are now free. Acquisitions Incorporated, which couldn't tell you a fucking thing about that book, and The Lost Mine of Fandelver, which is a very good... It used to be the old starter edition. I believe they've got a new updated starter edition now. But yeah, that used to be the old starter edition campaign, which we ran, and I thoroughly enjoyed. Don't know about you guys, but I did.
For the bits I played, because my experience was very limited.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I did enjoy. I enjoyed what I played.
Yeah, it's simple. They don't give you all the tools that maybe they should, but you know.
Fandelver is a good. Is a good starting point though.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It eases you into it nicely.
So, anyone out there who maybe is considering putting together a D&D group, I would say get a D&D Beyond account, get hold of Lost Mines of Fandelver.
Oh yeah, it's worth saying they are free to subscribers. You have to be a subscriber.
Subscribers. Oh, that's... Well, subscribe as well.
yeah. Honestly, it's like in like £3.
The subscription is negligible at this point. Like,
Yeah.
it's so cheap.
The master one that lets... In fact, let me... Before
I know.
start,
I know. At the time, I was limited to 6 characters, and then I got the thing of like, I want to get unlimited, and I looked, and it was like £3 to get all the unlimited ones, like limit character space and all the rest of it. I'm like, it's so cheap considering it's all just stored there for me, and I can play them all the time and mess about with crap.
Yeah.
So, one tier is Hero, which lets you create unlimited characters, add publicly shared homebrew content, early access to new tools, create unlimited encounters. Encounters are like, they track your combats and stuff like that. You get monthly subscriber perks, which is like things to make your character sheets look cooler. And then that is $3 a month. So, like £2 a month or something like that. And then there's the master tier, which obviously includes all of that, and it lets you share your homebrew stuff. And that is $6 a month.
So, really, for the price of a Starbucks coffee,
Yeah.
for those out there, for a copy or a choice of consumer brand coffee, it Costa, Cafe Nero, or Starbucks, or wherever you are in the world, like, you could, you might spend one morning in a week, you could, pay for a month's subscription and, like I say, get a band of buddies together and go off on an adventure of a lifetime.
In fact, if you walk around your local town, you could probably find the price of the lowest tier subscription on the floor somewhere.
Probably
could.
Not the best way to do it, but
You
never
could,
know.
yeah.
You could.
But yeah, I think the decision to delist the old books rather than just like tagging them as something like legacy or old is weird.
Yeah.
I don't understand that mindset.
No, I agree.
Weird.
It feels really, really bad that they were like, oh, well, here's a books that... Yeah, I guess they've kind of like... I guess they made them obsolete with these new books almost. Like stuff that's in these new ones.
Not even that they're like obsolete, they're just like practically different races at this point. Like the races that these two books shared with this new book.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of them have kind of been nerfed in some ways. The races, but
Yeah.
I guess they've done it just to because they're merging with Wizards of the Coast, aren't they?
Yeah.
And I guess it must be something that they're doing, like with these books coming like specifically from Wizards of the Coast and pushing it that way. Like we don't want to be affiliated with these, want to push that out and essentially force an update.
Maybe.
Unless it feels like, but yeah, I don't get it either. It'd be much better to. They might bring them back. They might bring them back, but
People seem to be demanding to just have them back. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens with that. The merger is happening today, I believe.
Today,
Posted that the D&D Beyond site might be having some issues as accounts are being merged with Wizards of the Coast accounts and stuff. So hopefully you're not playing D&D today.
Hopefully
but
not.
yeah, that's kind of that.
All right then. Next part of the news that we have. The Dead Space remake has a release date of January 27th, 2023.
Just realised that I put January.
January.
Your tea is going cold.
Like my birthday's in January, I might pick it up then.
Is that a hint for us to buy you it?
I need a birthday gift, guys. ideas throwing around, just throwing them out there. No. Genuinely though, it's the Dead Space itself. I never actually played the first one. I only ever played 2 and 3 because 3 was actually the first one I got shown by FD, and I really liked that. So to see now a remake for that, because when did the first Dead Space come out? I'm going to Google it right now. Dead Space
2005?
If you can see, it's 2008 survival horror video game.
Close.
October 13th, 2008. It's been so long now. It's been 14 years.
Yeah.
You'd pick it up to be involved in the cult of the game. Because like everyone's telling you that it was good, so you'd be playing it for that sort of reason to experience it. But now having the remake, if they can do it well, which is the big thing that needs to be said, if they can do it well, like Resi 2 was, then it would definitely be worthwhile to actually build some hype around it again and get a new fan base in to actually like Dead Space and possibly play the others.
They do seem to be listening to the community. Like, they did a whole live stream just about the art and the art direction, which I feel like a lot of games do not care about.
Yeah.
And they also changed some sounds of some of the weapons, because people were saying that like they didn't sound punchy enough. So
did you agree with that though?
To be honest, I did not listen to the sounds, so
Oh,
I
okay.
cannot comment one way or another.
Fair enough. I thought you might be curious and be like, I wonder if I think the same, or if people are just chatting nonsense. Because there's a thing that people think that, but it's like how much of it is nostalgia over the game and how much of it is actually the punchiness.
Yeah.
Because you have to not only you'd have to make it either the same, exactly the same, or you'd have to make it so better that it outweighs the nostalgia factor.
Hmm.
And we've seen that with a lot of other remakes, like the Spyro remake, Crash remake, things like that.
Yeah.
It's if you're going to stray off of it in some way, you need to make it so much more
Oh yeah.
than
Yeah.
it ever was, and keep it to the actual fan base that there was back then. So yeah, I'm very interested in checking out Dead Space. I think it'd be cool when it comes out, and definitely adding it to my list of games to actually play.
Very excited for that.
I can't wait to play it.
Right, next
Right.
news story.
Ooh, my favourite. AMC is developing an Alan Wake TV series. Now, let me just get one thing out in the open. I fucking love Alan Wake.
Pretty
It is by far my favorite. I'm going to say video game of the last 2 decades. It is my favourite game. It was such a good. It was almost like playing through a thriller TV show, and just I think Remedy when they developed it, totally smashed it out of the park. And of course, we've got an Alan Wake 2 coming soon, eventually, which I'm looking forward to as well. And that looks like it's going to go down a more horror-focused route, which I'm very excited about. But yeah,
And there was that remaster of Alan Wake 1 that came out somewhat recently.
That was
I want to say
good.
beginning of this year.
That is also one to add off topic. That's getting a Switch release.
Alright.
So, for all you Switch owners, you'll be able to play
All 10
Alan
of you.
Wake on the go. All 10 of you, not all 11 of you. I own a Switch, so that makes 11, Nick.
Alright, okay.
But yeah, so that's just a little side thing. But Remedy's creative director, I think he's like the head of Remedy as well. Sam Lake announced the news about the TV series being in development. It was posted when they were celebrating the game's 12th anniversary. And Sam Lake and the facial model for Alan, Ilka Vili, I'm sorry if I've butchered that, please do forgive me. They also shared a few updates about the future of the franchise. Sam Lake did have this to say when AMC, the wonderful, wonderful home of absolutely brilliant TV, has bought the rights for Alan Wake. Lake also then went on to explain, we have been collaborating on making a TV show happen. There is nothing more to share at the moment, but we will certainly let you know when there is something to announce. The showrunner is a person called Pete Calloway. They have done shows such as Legion and Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah.
They began developing the series in 2018, but they've also said that they're also not clear about his involvement currently, which kind of makes no sense the way they've worded that, if I'm honest. But yeah, basically, there's an Alan Wake TV series coming. I hope it is an absolute good show, and I feel a lot of the time I will be one of those people, if it's bad, I will be disappointed. And I will be very vocal about that, because I hold that game, quite close to me and quite dearly to me, because just yeah, I hope they do a good job. I wish them all the best with it. So yeah, AMC Alan Wake TV series is under development.
It's good luck to them then.
And
Yeah, especially with a video game
Yeah.
adaptation.
Yeah.
They're gonna need luck.
Oh yeah, definitely. So swiftly passing back over to you, Martin.
Yeah, so next piece of news. The PlayStation has revealed its classic games catalogue for PS Plus. And a note here, it says, and it's piss. Now, I'm just letting us have a look right now then, because it's interesting that you're actually saying it's bad then, because we all love the PlayStation classics.
Yeah.
There's so many on the PS1 that are absolutely astounding. And for many generations of consoles even. Not just PS1, but through PS4, PS3, PS2, all of them, that have been absolutely fantastic. So, go on then. Why? Who wrote it then? Was it you then, Nick, saying that it's piss?
Yes.
I want to know, why do you think it is that? What have they got for them that's bad? Or what do they not have that makes it bad?
Well, for starters, they don't have Resident Evil. I should say that, like, these are just the very first batch that's going to be coming out. So we don't actually know what's coming out later on down the line. Because these are getting... More games are getting added, like, every month or something like that.
Yeah.
But the ones that are starting out is Ape Escape, Hot Shots Golf. These are like the PlayStation Studios ones. IQ Intelligent Cube, Jumping Flash, Siphon Filter, Super Stardust Portable.
Do you have the article up on comicbook.com?
No, I have
okay,
tweet up though.
I see. Okay, because that's what I'm reading right now on comicbook.com talking about it. Yeah, because then there's third-party partners that says Mr. Driller. And then Tekken 2. Why not Tekken 3?
I'm sorry about name.
No, why not Tekken 1 and then add Tekken 2 and then add Tekken 3?
Yeah, like that would make more sense as well. But Tekken 3 was one of the best in the series. I don't know who didn't think. And I'm pretty sure, like, I'm going to Google this right now just to make sure I am correctly thinking of the same one.
Do you know what my
type in Tekken, boom,
is?
Tekken 3 is right there. Yeah, Tekken 3 was the best. Gary, what's your question then?
Where's the fucking Spyro trilogy? Where's the Crash Bandicoot games?
Yeah, I mean, those are Naughty Dog, weren't they?
PS1 classics they were, they're not.
They are, yeah.
Like, that
also, Worms World Party and Worms Armageddon. We should finish the list off.
Yeah, and then some remasters down below it's talking about, but it's like bringing out Ep4 Skip 2, Ark the Lead Twilight of the Spirits, Dark Cloud 2, Fantavision, Hot Shots 10X, Jack 1 and Jack 3, then Jack X, Racing, Jack and Dexter, the Precursor Legacy, Rogue Galaxy, Siren, Wild Arms 3. Then we have more third-party partners, which is Baja, I don't know, Edge of Control, Bioshock Remastered, Borderlands The Handsome Collection, Bulletstorm Full Clip Edition, Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning, and then the Lego Harry Potter Collection.
So those are fine for like PS4 games. They're
not bad, but they were the bad ones that didn't really sell. But these other ones,
what people wanted were like the original PlayStation games.
Yes,
they wanted decent original PlayStation games. People were hoping for that with the PlayStation Classic, and that like completely fucking failed to deliver. And now they've basically doubled down on that failure with just these games. I mean, somebody out there is gonna love Hot Shots Golf.
Yeah.
Someone out there, Hot Shots Golf is their favorite game. But when we're talking about the majority, let's be real, these are very fucking disappointing. Where's Tomb Raider? Where's Resident Evil 1? Where's fucking...
Where's my favorite Digimon World? And then Tekken 3 was the best one of the series, as I've said many times. That's the last time I'm going to say it. But yeah, there's so many others. There's Croc. That was a fantastic one to play. You know, there is, obviously, as we said, Crash Bandicoot. There's original Spyros.
PlayStation era was kind of that era of like animal protagonists. You know, like your Crash, your Spyro, your Rock, etc., etc. Where are all those games?
Yeah,
it's very disappointing.
It really is. It really is. Like if we look at like the PlayStation Mini, the little PlayStation Mini that they brought out.
Yeah,
Like,
PlayStation Classic.
yeah, like they had apparently looking at the list here, they had Tekken 3 on that, and they had like first Rayman. That was fair enough, and Resident Evil Director's Cut. But like, I get you still want people to play this. Are they even making the PlayStation Classic Minis anymore?
Probably not. They sold so badly that probably not.
If they aren't, then it's a bad move as well, because there's actual good games on here that you could easily just port over to have them online and just use the server space. These games are so small in memory, they're barely going to take user time to download them. You don't need huge high connections for them.
Yeah.
What would be the difference? Like with high speed internet, sure, download the game in 20 seconds. What's the difference that in a minute, realistically, for a lot of players? For a bit of a lower speed on these lower things, so you don't have to spend much money on it.
Yeah.
There's better ways to do it, and unfortunately, just looking at these details here, like I would not be buying this PlayStation Plus catalogs game if I know it's part of PlayStation Plus anyway. But again, it's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Well, that's part of like the highest tier PlayStation Plus, which is like $120.
The highest tier one's even worse. That's even worse than I thought. Okay. Okay. Well, that's kind of terrible. Unfortunately, that's. I agree. Then they could have done a lot better with that, because there's so many good ones that I can talk to so many original PlayStation fans, people on the PS2 and all of it, for these classic games, and we all have the very similar ones, even people I've never met before.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a shame. On to the next piece of news then.
Yes. So it was kind of leaked over the weekend that Konami are allegedly planning 3 Silent Hill titles. And the leak was that Bloober Team, who... let me just double check here. I want to say people are not happy with Bloober Team for previous things. Yeah, they did The Medium, which didn't go down well. Layers of Fear, I'm pretty sure people liked that. Or they also did the Blair Witch game.
Yeah, First Layers of Fear was well received, I think.
Yeah, so they're apparently working on a Silent Hill 2 remake. None of us in this podcast have any affinity to Silent Hill, so we can't really speak much to these.
Yeah, I watched a playthrough of it, but that's as far as it's gone for me.
Yeah, I've always had like a kind of... I've had an interest in Silent Hill. I'd like to get into it, but I'd like to get into it from the start, and I know that game does not play very well. So it's one of those things that I keep like dancing around the issue.
Yeah, honestly, this is the exact same for me. It's why I just watched a video of it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to watch it, find out at least the endings, things like that from watching, because even like when they started putting under the consoles, like the fog that was around, they had huge issues with. Because originally it was like a limitation on loading, and like it was supposed to be really scary when you walk around the streets, and then all of a sudden they removed that later on, and you could just see things right at the edge, just standing there, like not menacingly at all, because they're waiting for you to get image and things. It's, from what I've read, the original like developers put a lot of heart into like the story and like what you could do. It's such an odd game. Like, I'm fine to give spoilers on this, I think, because yeah, it's fine. But there were some parts I read about where it was like you get given like a letter about like from a partner or something, from like his ex-wife or something, whatever's happened. And so I genuinely can't remember. But like if you start reading it or like looking at the ring that was left and stuff, if you do that like 15 times throughout the game, which you'd have no reason to as a player, but if you do that, you get a different ending. That's more about him still being in love with his ex-wife and things, that passed or whatever. So it's like all these little things that are in there. It just sounds great for a game at its time of 2001, I think it is. Yeah, 24th September 2001 for a game to put that much detail in back then. It's fantastic. So I can see why so many people like it. I just think they have a lot to live up for if they're going to remake Silent Hill. Because it's not a remaster, it's a remake.
Yeah.
So it's a hard task for them to do. I don't even for a bit. So if they pull it off, like, very well done. But they have a lot to live up for a lot of the people who will be interested enough to actually play the remake straight off the bat, and that'll be comparing it to the first Silent Hill 2.
But we do know there's credibility to these leaks, especially when the DMCA takedown notice specifically named Konami.
Yeah.
So that's one way to confirm a leak as authentic, because otherwise why would they go to the extent of, lawyering up to do that?
Yeah.
The second game that's planned is allegedly a smaller Silent Hill title by Annapurna Interactive, which is going to be like an episodic thing. Annapurna I believe they did Outer Wilds. They're going to be doing Stray, which is the new cat free running game.
Ah, that game.
I need it.
I'm very excited for that. And some What Remains of Edith Finch, I think, and some other games. Which, I mean, I don't know. I don't feel one way or another about Annapurna. I don't know enough about the studio. And finally, a new mainline Silent Hill game.
Mainline, you say?
Yeah.
So we're talking an actual Silent Hill 3, essentially, or a reboot of the whole series.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's a new mainline Silent Hill game. So this could be PT. Who knows?
I wish it's not going to be PT without Kojima. We know that much, but they better do, because the amount of hype that was around to say that it was another Silent Hill game, even after so many years, the amount of hype that was dreaded up with PT was astounding.
There'd be people not to make a new one.
Yeah, because now PT was
riding off of this hype.
Like it feels like almost like they're testing the waters by bringing out these smaller ones while they're still in early development, I guess, of the mainline Silent Hill game. And try to get people excited about the series and trying out and everything. Yeah. It's been a long time coming, but hopefully they do that, because that'd be cool to actually go from the remake, if it's done well, and jump into the mainline one. I think that'd be very interesting to do that. It's probably what the plan is for them.
I agree that it does feel like they are testing the waters just to see where to go with the mainline entry.
Yeah. It's like being stood at a convention and going right, Silent Hill fans assemble.
Yep.
Just see how many there are.
To be fair, I'll probably give Silent Hill is to be fair on my to play list. So,
are you thinking of stream it then?
I don't know if I'd stream it. Some things you want to enjoy, don't you, in your own privacy?
Yeah, we'd have to take it seriously or worry about people watching and stuff.
But I don't know, time will tell. But it's definitely on my personal to play list.
Yeah.
So that may turn into a broadcast, it may not. We'll find out eventually.
Cool.
Right, moving on.
I am happy about this. So, the Ultimate Party game from hell, which is a really good game, known as Fall Guys, is going free to play. And it is coming to PS5, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch on June the 21st. The funny thing about Fall Guys is that it originally launched on PS Plus, its launch date. It was offered up as a PS Plus game at launch because it was originally just on the PlayStation. But yeah, and then obviously Epic Games bought the studio, and it's originally it was sold for $20, which back then it was a case of just if you had PlayStation Plus, you've got it, haven't you?
Yeah.
But so yeah, players who they already own the game on PS4 and Steam will get awarded something called a Legacy Pack. And it includes it includes unique cosmetics, and I believe you also get the first ever Battle Pass for free as well. So, if you're a PlayStation user, and you've already got it in your PS Plus, then from what that reads as, you are going to get some nice little cosmetics for playing it before it became free to play, and also you're gonna get a battle pass, which
What exactly does it mean by you get a battle pass? Like, you get to unlock the things on the battle pass, or you just get everything on that battle pass?
the first battle pass, obviously the battle pass will be paid. So, because it's not giving much away at the minute, from what it sounds like, is... so basically, here we go. So, it's also cross-platform as well. So, if you've got PS4, PS5, Xbox One or Series console, Switch or PC, you can all play together or play against each other, which I think is nice. There's a currency called Showbucks, that'll be the whole freemium currency, won't it?
Yeah.
Right.
And that is what you used to buy the battle pass, the season pass for the first one. And I guess each season will have a different pass, and you spend real world money and you unlock tiers on that pass to then unlock content. So you don't get everything handed to you straight away, you'd have to unlock everything, but I think even just giving the opportunity to unlock everything is nice.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also find it a tiny bit unfair because, like, Xbox and, they haven't had a chance to have this, so really it is almost like... The way I'd look at it is, why didn't they just, as a celebration of the first season, just give everyone the Battle Pass to make it fair? As the first ever one. After that, you've got to pay for it, obviously, if you want to do tier skips, like every other Battle Pass has, so I assume this would have it. You have to pay for it. But I do find it a little bit harsh that they've sort of just been like, well, these people are getting it for free and you're not. And it's entirely not like Xbox users' fault for not having it prior because the game doesn't exist for that yet. It's like not out, it's out for like another month, so I'm happy about it. I will look forward to diving in and playing with all these new players because
So you can kick their ass.
No, I'm crap at Fall Guys, but it's one of them games where you legitimately can't remain mad if you do bad. Like, you'll always find something to sort of like be amused by. It's just such a fun little game. Like, it is like a little party game that you can play. Especially it came out during COVID as well, so people were having these like virtual parties and were playing together. That's where I think it's done well. So yeah, there's a Fall Guys. It's going free to play. It was only a matter of time, I guess. It's coming out to all platforms, which is nice. So yeah, from the 21st, you can download and get your Fall Guys fix, and that is all I have really to deliver on that. So I'm gonna just take the beacon of attention and I'm gonna place it in your hands, Mr. Nick.
And I'm gonna throw it out the window.
Yay!
Now the beacon.
And you have.
This is a quick one because none of us actually watched this. I caught like 10 minutes of it, but 505 Games, who published games like Control, they held their first showcase where they showed off 4 games. The games are Among the Trolls, which is what I saw 10 minutes of. It seemed like a survival game where slowly fairy tale creatures get introduced into this survival world.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you much more than that, though. Something called Stray Blade. Ayuden Chronicles, I guess that's how you pronounce that. Rising. And Miasma Chronicles. Yeah, those are the 4 games that got shown off.
Well,
Alright. Is that what we're saying about the showcase? I will have
else to say. I mean, we haven't watched any of it, have we?
No, and that's the problem. Like, I definitely will have to watch it for another time just to know. But I didn't even know it was happening. I didn't even like know it was happening. I think I blanked over it.
Yeah, I was just on social media and I saw that there was a live stream, so I was like, okay, I'll watch this thing. Maybe it'll give us something to talk about on the podcast. And then I ended up tuning out.
It happens, man, it happens. Like,
Especially to me.
yeah, new games coming out and...
Yeah, alright then. Jump on to the next bit of news then. So, let me take a look at that. So, Vampire Survivors, among other games, coming to Game Pass. And Resident Evil 7 and Knockout City are leaving Game Pass. I don't know why they're taking Resident Evil 7, but first we'll go to Vampire Survivors. First time I'm hearing about it.
So good.
Because there's an article. It says right here, it's from Kotaku, take that way you will, but it says Game Pass... accept the terms, go ahead. Game Pass gets Vampire Survivors one of the best games of the year. That's a mighty claim to make, but if we go over to it being on Steam, you can buy it for £2.09, and all reviews, it says here, 98% of them are positive.
Yeah.
Out of the 92,610 reviews.
It just came out of nowhere and like absolutely took the fucking Steam marketplace by
like 17th of December 2021, and it's in early access apparently even, so they're still like working on it and stuff. Like
they're going to slowly increase the price with more and more updates.
As they should.
If you pay it now, obviously you're just paying that one price.
Yes. And that's it's a great way to do it because you're rewarding people who are supporting you sooner.
Yeah.
You know? And that's great.
Vampire Survivors is kind of a roguelike where you're not controlling when you attack. You are basically just moving your character, and that is about the only control. Whenever you level up, you'll get the choice of 4 items, I think it is, and then you can like stack those items, and stacking them will like... for example, the garlic... It makes like a radius around you that slowly damages enemies. If you stack that, that radius gets bigger and the damage gets increased. There's one that like throws an axe directly up and it kind of arcs. So you will throw more axes as you stack that. And it goes deeper than that where like you can combine certain weapons with certain items to then like super boost those weapons. And they become like a crazy powerful version of what they were. And it's just like a really simple, not easy at all game that like you can just turn... We talked about podcast games last time, but just turn your mind off and fucking go for it. That is very much what this is. It's very bullet hell. They're constantly throwing enemies at you. Shitloads of enemies. Enemies drop like gems, which will increase your XP, or they'll drop coins, which gives you money. Money is then spent on like permanent upgrades when you've finished your run. There are also different characters to unlock. Characters start with like different weapons, and they might have some traits like 20% more movement speed, or something like that. Yeah, it's just a very good fucking game, and it's cool that it's coming to other places.
Yeah, exactly. Because like I was looking at gameplay footage, and there's like a magic wand, cooldown reduced by this much, like an empty tome for all cooldowns reduced, and a fire wand to fire random fires enemies, throwing knives, so much of the stuff. And it's funny from like this video is like 25 minutes. And it's funny starting like at the small amount of enemies, like 3 minutes in. Yeah. And then you go up to where it's like, oh, fast forward like halfway through, and it just gets crazy.
The screen just gets full.
I can see a giant swarm of bats flies at this man. Like, thankfully, there's like this aura around him. I think as you're talking about the garlic, and like it destroys loads of them as they come through. But
cool, because each weapon has its own mechanic related to it. So garlic is like this aura around you, but there's also like the axe, which always is thrown at like. It's thrown above you and then arcs down to the bottom of the screen. Or there's like throwing knife, which is always thrown ahead of your character.
Yeah.
So they all have their own different not
Uses and
movements,
situation
but
stuff. Yeah.
that you basically have to learn.
Hmm.
And then the upgraded versions get even crazier beyond that.
Yeah. But I like it. Looking at it, it's like, as you say, you could really just go ham on and just go for records and just see how far you can make it.
Yes.
There's a constant clock just ticking above, and it's like,
Well,
gotta go in.
to a point.
To a point.
You reach 30 minutes and... I won't spoil it, but something happens.
Yeah.
Basically, your run isn't going to get much higher than 30 minutes.
Fair enough.
But people have been like creating builds where like, right, can I overcome 30 minutes?
And that's the great challenge, is to present players with that. And if there was a way to do it, like, I want to see it happen.
Yeah.
Like, I hadn't heard of this game until like literally half an hour ago, but I'm invested to know about this 30 minute ceiling. I'm very much about overcoming ceilings. Like, if those ceilings, I want to overcome them. So to see it, like, have that coming part of the community and people trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like,
I highly recommend this game, and it's not like taxing at all. It kind of looks like crap. The art style is heavily inspired by Castlevania.
Yes.
To the point that it's practically ripping it off.
Yeah. I mean, when you told me about it, I googled it, and I immediately said, like, this reminds me of old school Castlevania.
Yeah, 100%.
But there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of games have ripped off art styles, but it's, especially for something so old now, it's not trying to rip off newer games. To see this now, it'll be cool. I'll definitely look at giving it a go. Especially with it coming to
£2. Like,
yeah. I mean, it's coming to Game Pass, which I don't like. They'll probably get more money with coming from Game Pass than like selling it for £2.
Yeah.
Because it goes by time played, and if a lot of people are invested, they'll really go for it. So yeah, there's a lot of other games, but they're not here on the list at the moment. But the ones coming off of Game Pass is Resident Evil 7 and Knockout City. I've never heard of Knockout City, so I don't have nothing to comment on that. Probably why it's leaving. I don't get why Resi 7's leaving though. Like, are people just done with it now? Is that what the thing is? Like, people just aren't really downloading and playing it anymore? Or streaming it? I guess that's probably why.
Yeah,
why take it off.
Like maybe some sort of
licensing issue, or could be.
Who knows?
But yeah, it's a good game. Resident Evil 7 is a really good game, so it's a shame that it's coming off of that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess anyone who wants to play it has probably played it by now, so fair enough.
Time even. Right.
Final piece of news then.
Yeah, this one I kind of added last minute because it came out while we were recording. And it's that Marvel has signed a deal to use Stan Lee's name and likeness in films, TV, theme parks, and merchandising. So my immediate response to this was kind of a, wow, that's fucking gross. Like, let the dead man be dead. Yeah. But I did see someone added a caveat that I have now completely lost. Bear with me.
Well, it's just going to be nice to see him still around.
Right, I can't find it, but essentially it's going to be like old deleted footage.
Yeah.
Or like voice recordings. It's not going to be them fucking deep faking his face and voice to make like him say new fucking weird shit or anything like that. It's going to be old stuff that has already been filmed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise it's like signature exclusive in theme parks, cruise lines, and impact merchandise. It's like, come on, yeah, if they were doing that, that would be different, but stuff already recorded, that's not so bad. Yeah.
I mean, sure. The cameos always rub me the wrong way, personally. They always felt incredibly forced. Like, at a certain point, they're not cameos anymore, they're just like...
he had roles almost.
Yeah.
When he got to a few voice lines. He used to just him show up in the crowd. I still remember him, Spider-Man 1, Green Goblin attacks, and we Tobey Maguire, of course, Sam Raimi one. and Green Goblin attacks, and you see it blow up, and there's just a split second where it shows him in down on the street.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, those were the cameos to like spot him. Now, then it became to a point where he was just like there, like a weird, like multi-dimensional time traveler that no one knew. You know, it was strange, but they were forced. But I liked them. I genuinely did like the cameos. I thought they were one of the best parts of it. But
I think it'll be nice for those who are the big fans of like the cameos. You know, and it'd be nice for them, understandably, to see Stan Lee popping up. Because, like, it's a very quick, brief story. Like, after Stan Lee passed, I wasn't big up on his cameos in films, but the first film I went to go see where he didn't have a cameo in, it felt a bit weird. So I think it will be nice, like, for them to find a way to include him and continue his like legacy somehow. Which I think is nice. But that is all I've really got to say on the matter.
Well, we'll see what happens with it.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's nothing...
Invasive, obscene.
yeah, I feel like we're a lot of sense just because it's like thinking of. There's always this problem with a lot of legal entities. They start pushing boundaries. And it's at what point will they stop? Is this just to test the waters at the start and then start getting to the point where it's, as you say, deep faking and all the rest of it, and putting him into all these shows that, and like, well, these are the things that he might not have even wanted to be in. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to say, and I would just have hope that the family involved, like his family, will actually keep a lid on it as much as they can. And so, and there's a lot of people who deeply respected Stanley and what he did. So I'm hoping that the public, if they start doing something that's really bad, the public can come forward and be like, right, don't do this.
Step in and just sort of correct them a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a grey area, is this one, but it's acceptable for me if it's stuff that he's already done. You know.
And that closes out the news.
Diddle-a-doo.
So we move from that on to new and upcoming games, movies, TV shows, D&D books, and any reviews we have of said new games, movies, TV shows, D&D books, whatever.
I love this slash whatever.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it tells a story.
It does.
So we have Stranger Things Season 4 on May the 27th.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I've always been kind of lukewarm about Stranger Things, but I think Season 3 finally, like, pulled me in. Also, the fact that, like, minor spoilers, Vecna is going to be the antagonist. That has me interested. Granted, everything I know about Vecna comes from Critical Role, but
doesn't matter, Vecna's there. Vecna.
You can just see 11 takes the hand of Vecna.
Joe DiMaggio
just appears in the background going, oh my god, what have you done?
That'd be great if he makes a cameo over it all because of what he did for Vecna.
Wow,
that'd be hilarious.
Would be great.
And then Boys Season 3 on June the 3rd.
Woo!
Oh, it's worth mentioning, I think Stranger Things Season 4, that's just part 1.
Yes, it
I
is.
believe. Yeah. And then, The Boys. Season 3, June the 3rd. I'm looking forward to that.
And for anyone else, May the 27th, Kenobi.
Kenobi!
Kenobi! So yeah, Kenobi is also in there.
Fucking Battlefront 2.
They released some behind the scenes photos and stuff for Kenobi. Like, there wasn't like Hayden Christensen just pretty like practicing the lightsaber combat. But it was weird, like, 'cause obviously he's playing Vader. I assume James Earl Jones is still doing the voice. But so it was just weird watching Hayden Christensen in like a long ass like basically Vader cloak, not the full costume, but enough to like restrict him like the costume would, so he can get the fighting down.
Yeah.
Because it's not a spoiler, because they announced it when they announced Kenobi. Obi-Wan and Vader are having a rematch. So
Of course.
I can't wait to see that. There is a few other rumours and speculation floating about, but I will save them for a much later date. So, and I believe that's everything we've got coming up, guys. And
Alright, so it seems.
with that, it would swiftly divert us into Player's Choice. Now, we all know how this works, but for anyone who's coming in, maybe for the first time, possibly, like there's always a chance it could be possibly their first time. What it is basically, we have a number assigned to our names. Like Martin is number 1, Nick is number 2, and I, Sam, am number 3. We will roll a d3 dice in our handy little dice rolling bot. And whoever's number comes up will choose from a movie, TV show, / anime, or a video game that we'll all watch and play. And then we'll come back and chat about that next week. So,
time for the Player's Choice. Who's doing the roll?
Time for the Player's Choice.
I'm the only one who hasn't yet, so...
Let Nick roll.
Roll D3.
Let's go.
Number 3. Sam.
It's Sam.
Back to me now. Now. The decision I have to make. It's it's difficult because I didn't think it was going to come to me.
Always expect it.
So I'll be totally honest. I didn't think of one, but in my list of reserves, one thing I would like to experience, and it is a TV show, by the way.
All right.
Now I want you to go away. I mean, we can watch it all together as well if you want. I want to sit down and witness. It's if you remember League of Legends,
Yeah.
there's a show called Arcane.
Yeah.
I would like for us all to watch at least 3 episodes of that.
Alright, that's perfect. I've been meaning to watch that for a long time.
Honestly, the same. I recommended it to like friends. Do you want to watch that? And they're like, "Oh, maybe."
Oh well, then that's even better. Then.
Yeah, no, I ain't seen it. I've wanted to for a while, so yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That'd be cool.
As is the nature, we can either watch it together or watch it separately. I'm not too pushy on that, but we'll work it out. But by next podcast taping, we will have watched some Arcane.
Well, unless something goes cataclysmically wrong.
And unless I have the repeated, failed attempt like I did with Sea of Thieves that time. But yeah, that's... So yeah, Arcane, everyone. Arcane.
Cool.
Right, nice.
And that is a podcast, my friends.
That is a podcast, so...
Good scene.
Let's thank you everyone for sticking with us, listening. You're wonderful, amazing as always. And until next week, this has been the Tavern Talks podcast. So lads, let's go to the bar and get a drink.
Yeah, point.
Barkeep!